Hello everyone, back into today's second video. Going to have a look at the weather for the next week to 10 days, which will take us to around the 23rd of June. We'll be able to extend out beyond that, the extended GFS and ECM ensembles running to a couple of weeks. So this is your 10 to 14 day look at, and we'll go in further than that with CFSV2 towards the end of the video. That will be having a look at the weather for the next 4 weeks, taking us well into July. We're also going to have a look at sea surface temperature anomalies at the end of the video. That's because GavsWeatherVids Sunday Round-Up coming up tomorrow, so I want to see what's happened with La Nina in the actual precipitation over the past week. So we'll do that at the end of this video. No GavsWeatherVids Sunday Round-Up tomorrow, no autumn update either, because we're releasing the NAO forecast winter 2020-21. And I want to put that out there and just let it sit on YouTube for a few hours without doing any other videos and uploads. We will be live streaming from to 5 o'clock though tomorrow afternoon. And no doubt we'll talk about the NA forecast as well. Right, now, before I do anything else, I've got to say hello and a big thank you to Adam Turner, our latest GavsWeatherVids YouTube channel member. So thank you so much, Adam Turner, for becoming a channel member for GavsWeatherVids. It's absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much, Adam, for doing that. If you would like to become a channel, we've got loads of channel members, by the way, loads and loads of them to get through. Everybody is going to have their own individual shout out. Well, you'll all have your own individual mention in your own individual video, so I'm running a little bit behind, but I will get everybody. I've also got a PayPal donor to do as well. Everybody is going to get their own mention and their own shout out, so just bear with me. Everybody will get their mention, but I'm doing one mention per video, and so I am running a little bit behind with them. But if you would like to become a channel member of GavsWeatherVids, all you need to do is click the join button on the GavsWeatherVids YouTube homepage, or with all of the videos, that'll take you through to another page where you can see what benefits you get for becoming a channel member, and you can sign up on that page as well. Can't see the join button. The workaround is to use a link in the description. And big thank you to all of our channel members. Big thank you to all of our patrons and all of our donors as well. It's absolutely amazing what you've done for GavsWeatherVids. The way you have responded to GavsWeatherVids over the past few weeks and months has been absolutely phenomenal, and just completely blown away by all of the support and generosity and kindness and so on. So thank you so much, everybody, for doing that. Also, thank you to all subscribers. Our sub count is going up very quickly. We're currently around 6,750 subscribers. We're getting ever closer to the target that I've set, the target for the end of summer, to be at 7,000 subscribers. I'm still not sure we'll be able to do it, but it is going up quite quickly at the moment. So yeah, thank you to all of you for subscribing. If you aren't yet subscribed to the GavsWeatherVids YouTube channel, then just come to the channel and sub, and that's absolutely great. Thank you so much to all of our subscribers for doing that, and big thank you to channel members, patrons, donors, and so on. And as I say, we're going to keep recording, we're going to keep uploading, we're going to keep live streaming, we're going to keep bringing you the content that you are enjoying. So thank you so much to each and every one of you. Right, let's start the video then, and we're going to begin by having a look at Central England temperature. This is how the CET is currently looking from Hadley. It's provisional to yesterday, the 12th of June. We're currently standing at 13.4, which is an anomaly of 0.3 of a degree below average. So still pretty chilly actually for the first 10 days of the month. However, this is going to warm up over the next few days. It's going to start rising up, and it's going to accelerate, I think, as we go through the weekend into next week. So by this time next week, I suspect it'll probably be around a degree above average, but we shall see about that. But certainly this is going to start increasing in the next few days. That's probably about as low as it's going to get for this month, I would have thought. And as I said at the start of the video, there's quite a bit of uncertainty between the GFS and the other models at the moment. So these are the 500 millibar height anomaly flow charts from the Penn State University. We've got the ECMWF on the top, and the GFS, which we're going to have a look in a moment, is on the bottom. So 500 millibars is an area in the actual high pressure, low pressure being moved around by the jet stream running above. Red extrapolates high pressure, blue to low pressure. These are for the 7 to 10 day time frame, which takes us to the 23rd of June. The ECM has an area of above average heights sitting to our north and northeast, with below average heights out to our west-southwest. We're bringing in the flow and the jet stream, something like that. So it could be a little bit on the changeable side with the ECM, and still a little bit on the cooler side as well. Actually, we're still just about, I think, on the cool side of the jet map. But trough low pressure isn't as deep as we have had over the past week or two. But nevertheless, that still looks a little bit changeable. But look what the GFS is doing in the 7 to 10 day time frame. Here it is, with a large area of above average height sitting over the top of the country and to our east. Doesn't get much more settled than that. And we're bringing in an easterly wind, which will be a very warm easterly as well. Now, obviously, that would bring very warm or possibly even quite hot weather to our shores as we go into the 7 to 10 day time frame. But the question is, do we believe it? Because we know that over the past couple of weeks, the GFS has made several attempts to hook up big ridges, and it's never really come off. So, again, we've got another GFS run that's producing these big ridges of high pressure, but I say not all that well supported from other models. I don't think the GFS is performing all that well at the moment. Within the weekend forecast, I haven't seen it yet. Weekend forecast suggests quite a lot of showers up to around Wednesday. Then probably we will get a drier interlude as we get, I would have thought, more like a transient ridge through Thursday and Friday. And then probably back to unsettled weather again next weekend. But it is on a knife edge, this, and I'll talk you through the data in a moment. It could go either way, really. These are the GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles for the next couple of weeks. I'm at Cambridge today. So if you would like to have your local town or city featured within this section of the video, then please let me know by emailing me at GavsWeatherVids@gmail.com or ask me through the comments, and we're always happy to feature your local town or city in this part of the video if we can. So at the moment we're slightly above average with the upper air temperatures, and it looks like those warmer than average temperatures are going to pick up further over the next few days. So dates on the bottom of the chart, certainly the next week to 10 days is going to be above average with the upper air temperatures, and possibly like the end of this coming week and into the following weekend becoming even more above average. That looks really quite warm, possibly you would say a little bit on the hot side, and that goes on now into the last week of June as well. Just signs of a little bit of a drop there taking place right in the closing days of the month. Of course, that is a very long way out and it's very extended range stuff. That is quite a warm ensemble that we've got there from the GFS. The question is, how reliable is it? Because not only has the GFS operational runs been struggling quite a lot just lately, so too have the GFS ensembles been struggling quite a lot lately. So how seriously do we take that? We shall see, but certainly that's going for quite a significant spell of warm weather, starting really from now, from today, and possibly getting even warmer in around a week's time. Precipitation-wise, plenty of dry weather to come over the next few days. Could turn a little bit showery on Tuesday in Cambridge. That's the greatest chance of heavy showers for the eastern part of the country, I think, on Tuesday. There will be showers in the west, like today, tomorrow, Monday as well. Big showers, possibly thunderstorms in the west, but for more east areas, it's probably not till Tuesday we get some heavy showers going, and then after that, probably quite dry then again as we go through the second half next week into the following weekend. The last week of the month does look a little bit more unsettled, but again, it is very extended range and not reliable. Temperature anomalies on the 13th to the 21st of June are coming out warmer than average. Going to be a warmer than average week to come. Precipitation anomalies are near normal for many parts of England, especially out to the west. It's looking drier than average across western and northern parts of Scotland and Northern Ireland, though. These may start to trend drier in the next few days if we begin to get some high pressure going later next week. Right, let's have a look at the all-important charts then. So this is the UK Met. Now, this only goes out to 144 hours, but I think the UK Met has been one of the leading models over the past week or two. This is what it's showing for Tuesday. So we're still under a trough on Tuesday. There's a shallow trough sitting across the country. That will produce more showers showers, longer spells of rain, possibly even some thunderstorms as well. That trough possibly starting to push eastwards a little bit on Wednesday, maybe just beginning to get a little bit of a ridge building out to our west. However, Wednesday probably still quite showery. By Thursday, though, a ridge building in from the west and the northwest. This does look like quite a transient ridge to me. It doesn't look particularly strong, but it is bringing drier conditions, I think, through the second half of next week. And I would have thought a little bit of a drop in the temperature, at least initially as well, as winds turn into the northeast. Probably going a bit fresher around the middle of next week. However, by the end of next week, probably becoming quite warm. And again, we've got this ridge in from off the Atlantic building across the country. Again, it does look quite transient, although it all hinges really on what happens with this low pressure just here, where that low goes. If that low was to push in that direction, then that could help to build the ridge over the country. Alternatively, though, the low could sort of roll in over the top of the ridge and just break ridge down a little bit like that. So in 144 hours, the UK Met is one of those situations where it could go either way, really. But I think it does suggest at least a couple of drier and eventually quite warm days in the second half of next week. Now, this is the GFS, and we know what this is going to show because we had a look at it with the 500 millibar high anomaly flow chart. But we start on Tuesday when we've still got this shallow trough across the country. There'll be plenty of heavy showers on Tuesday, probably thunderstorms mixed in as well. Gradually, that trough eases away as we go through to the second half of next week. We start to get this ridge building from the west and the northwest. That begins to turn us drier. I think probably a little bit fresher for a while as the winds pull into the northeast as that trough clears away eastwards. But then the second half of next week, and this 144 hours, it does actually look quite similar to the UK Met actually at 144 hours. So it's possible the UK Met would transition further on to a higher pressure spell of weather actually. But again, it's inconclusive. But anyway, the GFS at 144 hours has us under a ridge of high pressure, mainly dry, quite warm, and then it intensifies the ridge next weekend. So this looks like a spell of proper dry and potentially very warm weather setting up next weekend, maybe even locally quite hot, and that goes on into the early part of the following week. So this takes us to day 10, which is Tuesday the 23rd of June, looking dry, fine, probably quite hot as well, maybe just weakening pressure a little bit to the south, could produce one or two thunderstorms in the south, but overall, up to day 10, that's pretty dry and very warm. In the more extended range, this GFS run does start to weaken the ridge, so we start to generate more heavy showers and thunderstorms through the last week of June. But by the very end, we actually start to build high pressure back in from the Azores at that point. So again, that's returning us back to pretty dry and quite warm conditions. GM looks like this. Again, this has been one of the leading models, I think, more so than the GFS over the past couple of weeks. So for Tuesday, again, we've got that trough over country, bringing lots of heavy showers. Still there on Wednesday, probably starts to clear away through Thursday and Friday, turning a little bit drier then. Again, this ridge does look quite transient that we've got second half next week, but enough to bring some drier and slightly more settled conditions second half of next week. That goes on into next weekend, could turn very warm for a time into next weekend before low pressure then comes back. Look at this, low pressure is rolling back in by day 10. We're back into pretty unsettled conditions with the GM. And then the ECM looks like that. So again, trough over country for Tuesday, bringing further showers. Many parts of the country, that's still there on Wednesday. And then go through to Thursday and Friday, and unlike all of the other models, not building up as much of a ridge through Thursday and Friday. So even into second half next week, the ECM does look quite showery, and maybe even a little bit thundering. It does eventually start to get a little bit of ridge going into like next weekend, so this is the 20th, 21st of June. A little bit of a ridge there for a couple of days, brings some drier and warmer weather, but we've got low pressure out in the Atlantic, and that low pressure just rolls in then as we move up towards day 10, very similar to what the GM is showing, but more unsettled than the GM, if anything. And we finish up on day 10 with the ECM. We saw it on the 500 millibar high anomaly flow charts, looking unsettled. Low pressure is through the country. This is a precipitation forecast based on that ECM run from Tameteo.com. So for today, we've got showers, particularly in the north and west. They could be thundering Bring some out of dry weather, though, in the east. Tomorrow, more heavy showers in the west. I think tomorrow the focus of the showers is like Wales, northwest England and Northern Ireland, possibly southwest of Scotland. Could be some big thunderstorms there. Areas further east probably stay mostly dry again. That's Monday. So again, it tends to be in the west, but we have the greatest risk of showers and thunderstorms on Monday. But on Tuesday, the showers actually become a little bit more widespread across many parts of the country. So anywhere could get heavy showers and thunderstorms on Tuesday. That's something we picked up on in the weekend forecast. Wednesday, again, lots of heavy showers coming through on Wednesday. Could be some thunder, maybe some longer spells of rain there down in the south. More heavy showers on Thursday. Now, as we go through the week, you'll remember that the other models are starting to build up some higher pressure through Thursday and Friday, not just for GFS, but also the UK Met, the GM as well, wants to get a little bit of a ridge towards the end of the week, probably quite transient. The ECM is perhaps on its own for being this unsettled into the second half of next week, but of course that doesn't mean it's wrong. So even up to Friday, we've still got big showers and thunderstorms in many areas with the ECM today. It does turn drier through next weekend for a couple of days, but not for long. Then rain starts coming in off the Atlantic as we move up towards day 10. It does turn really quite wet across many parts of the country and will be pretty cool too. This is the option that is on the table within the ECM ensembles today for day 10, which gets us to the 23rd of June. 51 out of 51 members of the ECM ensembles have above average heights to our east and also out in the middle of the Atlantic, and then there's a trough of low pressure through here. So they're all agreeing with that. So at day 10, the idea from the ECM is that at day 10 it's unsettled, and all of its ensembles are in agreement with that as well. So the GFS idea of high pressure for days 7, 8, 9, 10, not that well supported by the ECM or its ensembles. In 2 weeks' time, this is what we've got. This is for 28th of June. Again, I think there's probably a trough through here, so the ECM continues to look quite unsettled, certainly showery, at least to the end of the month. And then we've got CFS V2, so these are 500 millibar heights broken down to week periods. The first week period takes from the 13th to the 19th of June. The coming week has above average heights to our north-northeast, below average heights to our south-southwest. We bring in the winds from the east. So quite warm in the week ahead, but there will be showers around as we've established, especially so for more southern areas. Week 2 is the 20th, 26th of June. Again, high pressure over Scandinavia. Winds are in from the east. Low pressure is to the south. Probably a little bit drier in that week, if anything, and with winds in from the east, I would have thought pretty warm. This could be very warm. This is week 3. It's the 27th of June to the 3rd of July. High pressure just off the east coast of Scotland then, potentially bringing like a east to southeasterly. So that could go really, really warm, possibly quite hot. And then look at this. This is week 4. It's the 4th to the 10th of July, and the high pressure is in over the top of the country there, suggesting a continuation of very warm, potentially hot conditions, and also very dry as well in week 4. So the CFS is consistently now trying to transition after its unsettled first half to June. The CFS is consistently trying to transition into higher pressure and much drier and hotter weather as we go to the end of June and into July. We shall see. Now, I did set aside a video and have a look at sea surface temperature anomalies because we're not doing GavsWeatherVids Sunday Round-Up tomorrow. I want to see what's happened with La Nina. So finally, we're going to look at that. These are the 3 areas of interest that we're interested in. The Northern Pacific Ocean just there, the Equatorial Pacific Ocean, the ENSO region just here, and then the North Atlantic over there. So that's how things were looking when we did last week's GavsWeatherVids Sunday Roundup. This is the very latest. Let's have a look at it. And we have seen further cooling of the Equatorial Pacific Ocean in the past week. Again, that situation last week. This is the situation this week. Go back to last week again. Go back to this week. And you can see that the La Nina signal has strengthened further in the week ahead. I think this is still relatively weak threshold for La Nina, but definitely we have got a La Nina signature here with cold and average sea surface temperature anomalies from Peru in South America going over towards, not quite Indonesia yet, but certainly going towards the central and western part of the equatorial Pacific Ocean. That does look like a signature for La Nina, and we have seen thermal strengthening in the past week. In the northern Pacific Ocean, just look at that very quickly. So very little change up there. It remains significantly warmer than average in the northeastern part of the Pacific Ocean. And then in the Atlantic Ocean, finally, so that situation last week, this situation this week. So in the North Atlantic, again, significantly warmer than average through the tropics. It's cooler through here, particularly going back towards the eastern seaboard of the United States, and then to the south of Greenland it's warmer. It looks like we have a tripole there. It does look as though we've got a tripole, three-way band of warm over cool over warm, which, if you know about the NAO forecast that we're going to be releasing tomorrow, is quite an interesting signal. And I shall say no more than that, and you'll have to look at the NAO forecast tomorrow for more. We're releasing that at 10 a.m. and I think it will be quite an interesting watch. Okay, so that's it for today's video update. So basically it's a continuation of what we've had over the past few days. In videos, it can be quite warm over the coming few days, ongoing risk of heavy showers and thunderstorms until around Wednesday or Thursday. Then we probably go to something drier and slightly drier and slightly more settled, perhaps through Thursday, Friday, possibly lasting into next weekend. But by next weekend, we could already be starting to see signs of low pressure coming in. The GFS, of course, is hot again today and wants to bring a spell of prolonged dry and warm weather. So it's not all that well supported by the other models. Again, it's probably gone off on a tangent, but just because it's on its own and it hasn't been performing well recently does not necessarily mean that it's wrong. We did see from the CFS that the CFS is also gradually trending towards higher pressure as we go further into the summer, which is what we're expecting with the GavsWeatherVids summer forecast, of course. So it could be that the GFS is onto something at the moment, but it's too quick and too progressive in doing it. But it could be that eventually, maybe into July, we will get to higher pressure. But we'll see about that. Right, that's it for videos for today. Now, I say tomorrow, no GavsWeatherVids Sunday Round-Up. Also, no autumn update tomorrow. It's the big one, though. We've got the winter 2020-21 NAO forecast. We'll be releasing that 10 a.m. tomorrow across all GavsWeatherVids platforms. Always an exciting day when we release the NAO forecast. It's one of the biggest videos that we do throughout the whole year at GavsWeatherVids. It tends to eventually finish up like going above 10,000 views. So we did have one a couple of years ago, but I think went to around 30,000 plus views. So that one really took off. But generally they go to around 10 to 15,000 views. But that's one of the biggest videos that we do of the year. So one of the biggest videos of the year on the way tomorrow, NAO forecast. Check it out at 10 a.m. No other videos, but there will be a live stream from 5, and that's going to be a very interesting live stream. I'm sure there'll be lots of questions about the NAO forecast. As we're not doing GavsWeatherVids Sunday Round, we'll probably have a look at 12Z or the North Z in the live stream, and also Patal Peng's analogues as well. We'll have Patal Peng's analogues winter 2020-21 in that live stream too. So it's going to be a very, very interesting live stream. Check out the NAO forecast before that, and then we're live from 5 tomorrow. That's all for now, and thanks for watching.